Good morning. Took a little break the last week, but perhaps you continued your practice. Before we jump right into the Eightfold Path, just wanted to recognize whatever it is you're showing up to your practice with this morning. I was chatting with a student yesterday, and I won't share her name for privacy, but was sharing the passing of one of our fellow students in our community. This is at Helium, not at Insight. The shocking, for me at least, realization, or I don't even know how I would describe it, but a woman in her 30s, I myself in my 30s, and just what that brings up, and just how much gratitude I am for today, this very moment, and for each of you who practice with me. Just the somewhat strange thing it is we're doing here. So, heart to heart. Maybe you are coming to your practice with some heaviness in your own heart. Maybe your morning has been pretty stellar, anywhere in between. As we continue our practice on the Eightfold Path, it's just funny how this stuff works out. We're zipping up to right intention, zipping up, meaning if you've been following along on our PDF, we hit the bottom and we're going up to the top. So, two more practices left in this series. Right intention today. Next week, we have right view. So, usually in study of the Eightfold Path, the foundation is where people start. So, right view, which we'll be studying next week, the root of suffering. I chose to go into this practice on right speech. I think it's helpful sometimes to know where you're starting and where you're going. That's how we studied the Satipatthana Sutta. But for this one, I thought it would be more helpful rather than going into theory and then kind of outlining the path to just go right into how it is you're talking to yourself, how it is that you're acting, how it is you're orienting yourself. So we've been on that for 6 weeks. And the cool thing about where we are right now, right intention, is that this part of our practice comes from the Brahma Viharas. So if I taught an extensive class on this workshop series over the winter. I already have materials if you're interested in them. I'll post them in the chat after this. But the Brahma Viharas are these heart-centered practices. So we've gone through, again, how we talk to ourselves, what our actions are showing, how we're manifesting the right direction, how we start to develop mindfulness and focus, concentration. The Brahma Viharas are how. This is the answer of how we navigate. We sprinkled this in throughout, but today is all about these 4 buckets, or these sometimes called 4 immeasurables. One of our teachers says that these are the only emotions worth having. These 4 are the only emotions worth having: loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. I'll share them in Pali as well. Loving kindness, metta, how I sign off on many of my emails. Compassion, karuna. Sympathetic joy, mudita. And equanimity, upekkha. So it'll be a little talkative this morning, and then I'll let us go on our way. Maybe you pick one that kind of resonates with you, to honor that, or maybe you pick one for our mindfulness practice that doesn't show up so naturally that you can spend a little effort to cultivate. Loving kindness is a practice many teachers offer. This is the sincere wish for well-being, happiness, and safety of all beings. This is also how we close our practice each time. We include ourselves in the circle of compassion as an act of loving kindness. Compassion is the empathetic response to suffering of ourselves and others. This is what I felt very much yesterday. The heartfelt desire to alleviate suffering. Sympathetic joy. The genuine rejoicing in happiness, success, and well-being of others. Oof. Now this one can be hard. The genuine rejoicing in the happiness, success, and well-being of others. Envy is real easy to sneak in, especially in the world of social media. Seeing folks who, I don't know if you've ever seen Portlandia, but one of the things I always think about in one of the episodes about social media is you crop out the sadness. And that's kind of like so true. You would only see part of the picture when you're scrolling. You only see part of the picture when you're reading the news or walking down the street and looking at your neighbor's new car, or, whatever it might be. This is genuine rejoicing in the happiness, success, and well-being of others. Oof. So maybe that's a place to practice. And then finally, equanimity. The state of balance, calm, non-reactivity to the changing conditions of life. Pleasure, pain, gain, loss, success, failure, even-minded attitude through it all. And we've practiced equanimity a little bit before. This is not aversion. This is not attachment. It is the expansive space in between, not the peripheries of attachment and aversion. Those are actually the limiting emotional states. Equanimity is the incredible expanse between. So remember, this is just the answer to how we navigate on the Eightfold Path. And maybe I'll actually switch my screen share here. So as we practice, if you get lost, I'll share this, maybe helpful. So let's pick one to get started. Again, this is just a visual from the series I taught over the winter. Pick one, and then in a few moments, give us a moment to pause. Either pick one that is naturally arising or easy, or pick one that needs some cultivation. And then when we're about halfway through, you can swap. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I'm not so sure. Remember, this is the practice of how. And I suppose that phrase is true if you never wake up, if you're on autopilot your whole life, your brain will seek the easiest path, the least amount of friction. So it will slowly evolve over time, grow. But there's also practice, what we're doing exactly here, training in how we show up in certain circumstances, perhaps when we're fully awake, enlightened, whatever you want to call it. How we do one thing will be how we do everything. Completely compassionate, equanimous, sympathetic, with loving kindness. But we can recognize that this is a path. Excuse me. I think it's more complicated than how we do one thing is how we do everything. Some places we will be naturally strong. Some places need a little bit of practice. So for our next container of time, maybe you're ready. Maybe you're ready to pick a place that isn't so natural or easy. Or if you've already done that, maybe you reinforce one of these areas of practice, how we do this, how we're walking this path, how we're doing this life. Another container of time for us. For these last couple of minutes of practice, maybe think about the place that was a little harder to navigate the how in the mind. And you all know that this practice is, I don't want to say, mm, it's not, I don't know how to say it. That I mean, this practice is best when it's embodied and alive, right? Off the cushion, off the floor, off the container of time, and in the world, so that how we do one thing is really how we can do everything. So let's think about the day ahead. Like literally, I'm visual, so I think about my calendar, all of the time slots, all of your appointments, all of your whatever it is, your to-do list. If there was a place that was hard, which there likely was, what are you going to do when difficulty arises? When you see that friend with a new car, when you come against somebody who is difficult in your life, when it seems like emotions are out of balance, which one was hard? I always get compassion because that's my hard one. Literally envision yourself. Visualization is activity now in the mind where we can gain experience. So when, if and when those experiences arrive, we come to them with experience. If it serves you to bring your hands to your heart, we'll close our practice. Every incremental step on the way is an opportunity. How we reflect and how we navigate builds the infrastructure for how we do one thing is how we do everything. May the merits of this practice be of benefit to all sentient beings, those who are here presently, those who are yet to come, our ancestors, our friends, everyone who has come before us. We include ourselves in the circle of compassion. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time.